The ability to speak clearly and communicate effectively will give you a competitive advantage in business and in life. So why not invest your time, talent, and resources learning something that can position you for greatness? And that is where Seven Figure Media comes in. They have developed a very unique platform titled Public Speaking Made Simple. And platform is all designed to help you to learn, apply, and master effective public speaking skills and effective essential communication skills that will give you the competitive advantage in life. All of this is free. All you need to do is to reach out and get registered for this program. Remember, the name is Seven Figure Media. Welcome to another broadcast of Seven Figure Media. In the event that you're joining us for the first time and you may be wondering, what is the focus of Seven Figure Media? Permit me to explain. Seven Figure Media is designed to really help you to understand the step-by-step process and how you start and scale your business and your brand into 6, 7, and 9-figure brand. So very often what is going to happen, you're going to find subject matter experts, some of which will join me today, that will be providing that guidance and that mentor. Along with that, we will be bringing persons who have years of experience in doing business to also share with you their step by step. As you would know, to build a 7-figure brand has many moving parts, and our role is to really help businesses across the world to better understand some of those moving parts, or most of those moving parts. Our aim is to help you to understand this in the theory and to understand the concept in the practical. Today with me in studio, I have two exceptional and talented personalities. And the first person I want to introduce is Clement Frank. And Clement Frank, he is an economist by profession, and he is the author of several books, including Catalyst Leaders. And I'm happy to have you here today, Frank. I also have Atina. And Atina, she is an expert in the AI. She deals with AI automation. She's an advisor in this field. And I want to say this to you, if you're doing business today and you don't understand much about AI, artificial intelligence, and how it can help to push your business forward, well, you're at the right place, because Atina will give you the step-by-step to help you to better understand how to incorporate AI into business. Well, I introduced everyone, so I was going to do a little brief on myself. I wear many hats like a Toastmaster. I am heavily involved in marketing and branding. And of course, I'm also heavily involved in capital markets. Part of what we do is help businesses throughout the United States. So in all 50 states, if you're living in the US, you have a business, and you want to access debt, equity, credit, creative financing, or hard money lending, 7-Figure Media and our team, we're able to get you access to the much needed capital to grow and scale your business. So with that being said, I want to take this time and welcome all of you guys. I know Atina, she just came back from a long trip, but in spite of how tiresome that trip was, she's still here to bless us with her golden, charming smile. Guys, today we're going to be talking about how to build 7-figure brands. And I want to start the conversation, and then I would love you guys to chime in from your own perspective in terms of what your blueprint may look like in building a 7-figure brand. Now, if you're a rising star in business, I want to say a couple of things. Any attempt to build your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, it begins with data. And very often when we talk of data in the academic world, it comes over as an abstract term. So what I will try to do is to break that down. When we talk of data, we are talking about collecting the right information that's going to help you to make the better, smarter, wiser decision in terms of how to start and scale your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand. The first thing you need to do is to collect the data. The second is to analyze data in the context of building that 6, 7, and 9-figure brand. The ability to analyze that data is what's going to help you to predetermine whether the area of business that you're looking at, if it has that potential to cash flow 6, 7, and 9-figure income. The third is that once you recognize that yes, it has the potential, is how do you leverage data in the context of building that 6, 7, and 9-figure brand. And last but not least is data mitigation. Market realities changes, and when you are attempting to start that 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, you want to know that you are market oriented, you're market sensitive, and market responsive enough to change with those changing market realities. Any attempt to start your business, your brand, to scale it up into that six, seven, and nine figure brand, you want to be certain that you're collecting data. So I'll pause here for now. With time, I will help you to understand what I consider to be five important concepts that you need to understand. The first is data. The second is what I'm going to call tools. Do you understand the right tools that's going to help you to start and scale that six, seven, and nine figure brand? Do you understand the right processes to support you in that effort to start and scale your six, seven, and nine figure brand? Fourth, do you understand leadership and application? Because you may have all of the right information, but if you don't have the right leadership style, you may be suffering from what we call a leadership deficit. Is going to undermine your potential to achieve that six, seven, and nine figure brand. And last but not least, with time, we will also talk about the importance of systems. How important is having the right systems in place to aid you in your effort to start and to scale your six, seven, and nine figure brand. Systems is very important. Here is where we talk about transparency, accountability, consistency, and so much more, all of which is applicable in your effort to start and scale your six, seven, and nine figure brand. So I'm going to pause here for now, and I'm going to open up the floor to Frank, who is an economist by profession, to give us his input, and then I'll come over to Tina. Frank, all to you.
Thanks, Gary. After a while, I'm back here. It's a pleasure to be here and to share from a catalyst leadership point of view. How do you build a seven-figure brand as a catalyst leader? First of all, it requires a strategic approach that blends vision, influence, and execution. The foundation of a successful brand begins with the clarity of purpose, where you are understanding the core mission and the unique value proposition that sets the brand apart. A catalyst leader must articulate this vision compellingly. They must ensure that it resonates with the target audience and aligns with the market needs. So by establishing a clear brand identity, including a compelling story, core values, and a strong visual presence, you also need to have a foundation for scalability, a set foundation. Scaling a brand to seven figure also demands a deep commitment to value creation and of course, innovation. Catalyst leaders focus on solving real problems. They focus on offering transformative solutions that inspire trust and loyalty. And this requires continuous market research, customer feedback integration, strategic product or service enhancement. When we're leveraging digital platforms, particularly social media, the content marketing, your email campaigns must ensure a widespread visibility, ensure customer engagement. There's need for automation and technology, which plays a critical role in optimizing your operations, which also helps in streamlining the processes and enhancing customer experience. Any catalyst leader should understand that relationship drive brand success. So if you establish strategic partnerships, if you establish collaborations and networking within industry circles, it can accelerate growth, it can create new opportunities. And thought leadership through speaking engagements, through book publishing and high value content positions your brand as an authority in its niche. Additionally, if you have a strong community driven approach, it fosters advocacy, where loyal customers and brand ambassadors amplify the brand's reach organically. Of course, you need financial intelligence, which is essential for scaling to seven figures. So a catalyst leader must implement sound financial management, balancing reinvestment, profitability, and cash flow sustainability. The pricing strategies should reflect the value delivered while ensuring scalability. Diversifying the revenue streams, such as offering of premium services, offering subscription models, or intellectual property licensing, strengthens financial resilience. If you're accessing funding through strategic investments or partnership, this can also fuel expansion when necessary. But ultimately, the seven-figure brand thrives on leadership. It thrives on adaptability. It thrives on execution. Catalyst leaders continuously refine their strategies, remain agile in market shifts, and cultivate a strong team that shares the vision. So by maintaining an unwavering commitment to impact, by delivering exceptional value and strategically scaling operations, the brand can achieve sustainable seven-figure success while at the same time leave a lasting legacy. Over to you.
Thanks for that share, Frank. You did cover wide scope of areas that I believe is very useful to any rising star in business who can take away from this. I love that you mentioned financial intelligence because financial intelligence runs very deep. And one of the things that we talk about a lot in terms of financial intelligence in the context of business means that you must understand capital markets. You must understand how to access capital markets. You must understand how to leverage finance in the right way. And last but not least is you must understand how to mitigate financial instruments. Those are deep subject matters. And as time progresses, we will go deeper into that analysis so as to ensure that you, the listening audience, who may have a business or may be thinking about starting and scaling your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, you can take away from those analysis that we will give. Now, without further delay, I'm anxious to pass the mic to Tina to really have her give her insight into her area of specialty and how she sees the area that she's in can really help the rising star in business to grow and catapult their vision into that 6, 7, and 9-figure business. Tina, all to you.
Sure. So basically, since this is the channel for how to build a 7-figure brand, as I have shared probably in the past a couple of weeks ago, of how the trend is going right now, especially starting in 2025, we start to see how AI are influencing the business tremendously. 80% of business are going to be implementing AI. When we're talking about implementing AI into their business, we're not talking about just playing the AI tools anymore. And more businesses starts to see if for them to take a lead in their industry, they better start hiring the AI consultant, the professionals, to see how to help them integrate the whole operation, starting from the sales department, marketing department to the operation. That's how they are be able to stand as a leaders in their industry. So especially, we also seen the trend, 74% of American consumer more than likely to, depending on their buying decision on the company, especially their executive, to have respected personal brand. So this is something that we have never seen in the past, not as important. Like even Forbes have done the research, the business, the 70% of professionals understand how important building the personal brand is into the business, but only 15% of people are actually executives are actually taking the action to make this happen. The reason why is because a lot of people don't really have a really clear direction on the brand identity, how exactly craft that. And then second of all, now the AI is getting involved and make this part of the process a little bit more complex, because now people are taking in the consideration or concern about how this AI is going to be potentially damage their brand if they do not know how to execute properly. So that is one of the concerns. Another thing is for a brand, a personal brand, to actually show and shine in the industry, they will have to be comfortable being vulnerable in public. And so with all those factors into to the personal branding, and for the leader to actually stand out from the competition, there's a lot of different factors, like I shared, being involved in this. So basically, for a brand to become successful, they have to be clear with their brand identity and with the market the way it is. They have to be able to know how to massive produce the content almost on the automation process, because with the AI getting involved, the content creation on the high quality content creation is faster than ever. So this is kind of a lot of the companies are exploring how can we generate high quality content, either on the copy, image, or videos. How can we massive produce and also able to have it distribute across multiple different platforms? We're no longer talking about just one kind of platform, because people are expecting to experience you all over a digital market. So just like what Frank shared that earlier, is on the one digital platform is one of the markets. One of the platform, there's several different platforms that people expected to experience your brand. So and later on, that's why people, a lot of business are looking to see okay, if I'm going to have my brand all across a different platform, how do I create a system, a brand workflow system to streamline this whole entire process so I don't have to be the one doing the repetitive work for each platform? So this is kind of what we see, the three major elements of business must have moving forward. One is to have a clear brand identity and message. And the second of all is to massive produce high quality content. And third, it is to create automation in a brand workflow.
Great share, Atina. What I would love for us to do as time progresses, we wouldn't do that today, is to really look at how AI may add to or take away from personal branding. Because you made some strong points. I do believe that AI, when used the right way, it may be able to complement your personal brand. But AI, when used the wrong way, it can significantly undermine your personal brand. So there is yin and there is yang in those regards. And at the right time, we will definitely discuss that. But I certainly do agree that AI can help to significantly accelerate the growth of your business. It can increase the pace in which you produce media content. And when I talk of media content, we are talking about producing content that is able to fit across all communication spectrums, meaning mass media, the metaverse, social media, and independent platform. AI can significantly enhance productivity, output, and help you to make impact. So I think that any rising star in business, if you are attempting to grow and scale your business and you're not pausing a bit to really get to understand how AI and working with artificial intelligence specialists, particularly those who specialize in leveraging AI for business, it's a tremendous missed opportunity for them to fast track the growth of their business. What I will do, I will expand a little bit on some of the points that I will have made earlier, because I did say that you need data. When you want to start and scale your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, you need data. But very often when we hear data, data can be very abstract. What Frank spoke about is data. What Atina spoke about is data. And our role is not just to say data and leave it out there. We want you to have a better understanding about data and how to integrate data into your business decision-making process. So let's not a jab at this. When we talk of the importance of data in the equation of starting and scaling your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, first of all, you want to know things like who is your ideal client. And this is important because very often we see many businesses get started, and what they do, they innovate products and they innovate services and they introduce themselves to the market without taking the time to create what we call market alignment, all right, product service alignment. And the way product service alignment looks is that, first of all, you need to understand who is your ideal client. And for most people, understanding who is your ideal client is not the easiest thing to do, and I will explain why. Second, you need to take the time to understand the specific needs of your ideal client. And these are things that you need to do long before you get to production, long before you get to innovation, because production and innovation is a precursor to understanding who products and services is being produced for. So if you don't know who you're producing for, if you don't know their specific needs, the possibility exists that what you're producing is not going to be relevant to them, or it may be relevant to them, but not necessarily relevant to you. And let me explain that, because when we talk of brand relevance, it's many slices of the cake that you need to understand. So when we talk of brand relevance, relevance has to be created on two spectrums. What you're innovating and producing must be relevant to your consumers, and your consumers must be relevant to you. All right, and I will explain that part shortly. Let me quickly go through a couple of things. Any attempt to create brand relevance means that you have done your demographic classification, which means that you have made an informed and educated decision that you're targeting people who may be affluent, middle class, or upper middle class, or average people. You need to know that, because if you don't know this, you cannot produce products and services to truly reach expectations. You're guessing, you're speculating. So, and building a 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, you need to take the guesswork out of the whole process and do that based on data, based on information. I'll go deeper into all of that as time progresses. The second concept that you need to look at is urgency. Any attempt to build your six, seven, and nine-figure brand, you must be asking yourself if AI is urgent, if catalyst leadership is urgent, if access to capital is urgent, if you providing access to capital is urgent. You want to know what is urgent to the consumer, because the consumer, the potential client, is likely to respond to you based on your ability to satisfy their urgency and immediacy. So if you don't know that, again, you may be guessing about what you're doing. And data helps you to take the guesswork out of the business process. There's two other important concepts that I want to share among the list of things that you need to know when you're attempting to start and scale your six, seven, and nine-figure brand. Third, you need to ask yourself, does the ideal client has the ability to pay? Now, depending on your demographic, we just look at affluent, we just look at upper middle and middle, we just look at average. Now, if you're selling Mercedes-Benz, it's obvious that the average community will not have the disposable income to invest in your Mercedes-Benz or your Infinity. You need to know what is the data saying. You may have the middle, upper middle, affluent society who's going to be your prime target market. But something that we need to get away with, because you might want to say, hey, I'm targeting my product at the affluent in society. So you run away with the assumption that they have the disposable income to invest with you. But having the disposable income to invest doesn't mean that they have the willingness to invest that disposable income with you. And there are barriers to nurturing the willingness to invest with you. And some of those barriers that we talk about is, are you able to break through the know, like, and trust factor? Because especially affluent communities, they are not buying, for the sake of buying. They're buying for security. They're buying for all of the, affluent reasons that they're going to invest in. And if you don't know that, you have a challenge. And one of the things that you want to do when you want to break into certain communities is to ensure that you have a system that is helping you to be properly introduced into certain community. All right, that process must help you to be known, to be liked, and to be trusted. Any attempt to start and scale your six, seven, and nine-figure brand, if you're able to relate to this knowledge, adopt these principles, and apply them into building out your business ecosystem, it's going to set you apart from your peers. It's going to set you apart from your competition, because you are now using what we would call data. And in conclusion, I want to say a couple of things on data. Everything that we're talking about here is driven by data. And why data is so important? I did establish you need to understand data from four standpoints: how to collect the right information, how to analyze information in the right way, how to leverage information the right way, and how to mitigate. Why? Because data gives you the science, data gives you the proven theory, and data gives you the best practices. And it is because of this you get the high reward, you get the measurable results, you get the predictable outcome with the highest degree of accuracy. And that's what you want with your business. We believe that when you follow the data, it helps you to do business beyond just the art of doing business, but it helps you to understand the science of doing business. And it is this ability to combine the art and science of doing business that really positions you to win. In conclusion, quickly, I would normally say many businesses fail before you say 1, 2, 3. And many businesses fail long before they get started. Why? Because many of those businesses, you're not following the data. So I trust that moving forward, the data is no longer an abstract term to you, but data really means taking the time to understand market realities and leveraging those market intelligence to make better, smarter, wiser business decisions. I leave it open now for the floor. Who wants to go first? Atina, Frank?
All right. One of the things
You're
that
mute, Frank.
one of the things I always want to answer is the why. Why do we need a six-figure brand?
The way.
The why, the big why. No, building a seven-figure brand is not just about financial success. I need you to be clear about that. It's about creating the lasting impact, sustainability, and influence. You see, a seven-figure brand provides financial security. It allows entrepreneurs to and catalyst leaders to reinvest in innovation, expand their reach, and make a greater difference in their industry and community. This seven-figure brand also enables businesses to operate at a higher level, offering better products and services while also providing quality employment opportunities. Far beyond financial gains, the seven-figure brand enhances credibility, enhances authority. When you have a strong financial foundation, businesses can attract strategic partnerships, can attract investors and high value clients. And this credibility position the brand as a leader in its space, opening doors to media features, speaking engagements, industry recognition, and fosters that customer trust, as people are more likely to engage with brands that demonstrate stability, that demonstrates proven success. Additionally, the seven-figure brand allows for greater philanthropy, greater social impact. Businesses with significant revenue can support charitable initiatives, invest in community development, and fund projects that align with their values. You see, this level of financial freedom, it empowers the catalyst leaders to drive change beyond their immediate business, which thinks about influencing industries, influencing policies, and societal progress. What ultimately happens is there's a need for a seven-figure brand, and it goes beyond accumulation of wealth. So I'm saying the seven-figure brand is about sustainability. It's about influence. It's about impact. If you have a financially strong brand, it has that power to innovate. It has the power to lead and also to create what we call a lasting legacy. Well, it also ensures long-term success for both the business and the communities that it serves.
Thanks for that share, Frank. Without a doubt, I think anyone who's able to build that 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, immediately you attract public confidence. So it's definitely public confidence booster. On that point, I just want to share a little bit of what 7-figure media can do for rising stars in business. A little over a year ago, like a year and a month now, we have started 7-figure media. And what we have been able to do is to attract over 100,000 subscribers to this platform. We are reaching over 50 countries, and we are reaching close to 1 million viewers over that period. The icing on the cake is that we have been recognized by YouTube and Google for that level of achievement. We have just received the Silver Plaque Award from YouTube, and that's no easy accomplishment, because when we study the history of YouTube, of content producers, we are ranking among the 5% of content producers on that platform. So that is definitely something to celebrate. And as Frank would have said, that definitely gives you a sense of accomplishment. But beyond having that sense of accomplishment, we are using this platform to provide humanitarian services. What we are doing here right now, we are combining our knowledge, and we're using this platform to provide information to rising stars and stars in business to better understand how a business process works. And that directly correlates with what Frank was saying. Yes, you're going to have the recognition, you're going to have the financial rewards, but above all of that is how you can use your platform to do good in the world when you have that good nature as part of you. So I love that share, Frank. And I want to open up to Atina and to just have her give her thoughts on the subject of discussion. Atina, over to you.
Sure. I actually do have some of it based on what you guys have been sharing. Gary, I totally get what you're saying. You got to really understand your target audience before you have any marketing content. That is so true. Like, how do you even know who you're talking to to even craft something, to have something to start to have a conversation? That is very true. That's why whenever we're teaching our clients or even talking to potential clients, we really, the very, very first step for us to even work together, or even potentially to look at what is going on with their business, we got to know who is their target audience, who are they targeting to. A lot of times people say, well, just amplify my business. I was like, I don't even know who you're talking to. How do I know how to help you craft your marketing content to amplify and automate your business? So that is so key. That's why I said it's really resonating with me when you're talking about the target audience, because that is exactly the same thing we had to go over this particular process. That's why the very, very first step for people to even want to work with us, we actually had to go through the process of an assessment, is to see where they at in their branding. Do they have the brand message? Do they have the target audience like you're talking about? So a lot of time we just see a lot of business, unfortunately, are really just trying to target everybody. But as we know, when we target everybody, suddenly the message become unclear. They pretty much talk to nobody. Nobody can resonating with their the message with the company are trying to provide. So that is pretty much the very first kind of like the foundation before we even look at how to automate their business or how to even AI find their business, is to look at what do they already have for their basic brand message. Do they have the value proposition? What is the mission statement, the story? All of this is the foundation. It's like, I would say, it's a core of in every business. Without this core, there's nothing to automate. So that's why I'm really resonating with you on this particular area. And this is exactly the reason why whenever we take on a client, be able to work together is one thing. What do they have? To go over that assessment of the strategy session with them to see what they have, what tool they're already implementing in the AI in their business, or do they just need the good old fashioned automation? Because this is kind of what we found out. 70% of businesses, when they come to us that want to have them AI find their business, all they really need is a good old-fashioned CRM system to start, to ultimate start. And this is something it's already existing in the market. And that is kind of where we look at their business. Oh, wow, we don't want to say it's a mess, but a lot of them really don't even have basic automation that's already, before AI started to get involved with this business. So a lot of times, this is kind of where we have to help people start to build from the foundation. And then we can talk about automation. And then once we have all the things that are in the right place, that's when we can start talking about AI in their business. So it's a lot easier than people think. Like they think it's just all this phantom thing. They click the AI button, everything's all worked out for them. It's really not the case. So we just like to bring people down to reality. A lot of time we just need to help them to build a foundation, build a target audience, build up, craft their niche, their story, their vision, where they want to go for their company. So yeah, it's all starting from the very, very basics.
Yeah, it should always begin with the basics. And when you jump past the basics, sometimes you open up yourself for unnecessary challenges. What I want to talk about now as we begin to wrap up, there's so many moving parts to starting and scaling your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand. And you need a strong quality customer care. You need a department that can really be at their A++ game when it comes to customer care. You need a strong sales team, because as a sales team, your sales communication professional that is going to be helping you to get the visibility, reach, and impact client conversion. You need a strong public relation team. You need a strong marketing team. Now, I cluster these 4 groups of people for a particular reason. In recent times, we have done a lot of deep dive and a lot of research around these critical players. And one thing that these 4 professionals have in common is that they are tasked with public speaking, or they're tasked with public speaking. And that the ability to speak clearly and the ability to communicate effectively has many importance. Businesses help to accelerate the growth of business in terms of quality customer care, sales, marketing, and branding. It helps those advocates to stand out among their peers. But guess what we have seen? We are seeing across the world that we have between 72 and 75% of the global population that are struggling with public speaking. So when we did that research, we began to recognize something, that many persons that you are hiring to serve in quality customer care, they are suffering in silence. All right. They have that public speaking deficit, but they just may be trying, and you believe that they're supposed to be, the A-class, quality customer care, but they have not been fully trained to overcome some of their fears. In sales, we train people with sales techniques, and then we put them into the world to become sales guru, not taking into consideration that there are certain public speaking skills that they may not know. And I'm going to explain what I'm saying shortly. The same happen in public relation and in marketing. You bring people into the organization. You believe that, hey, they have the qualification in their respective field, and you throw them now into public speaking, not following the data that says between 72 and 75% of the global population, they struggle with public speaking. And one of the things that we have discovered is that persons are not scared of sales, quality customer care. Guess what they're scared of? Public speaking. So if you can work with them to get them past what we call the public speaking deficit, you're going to be surprised to see how much more they're able to achieve as an effective public speaker. In conclusion, I want to say a couple of things. Very often you find that people speak but they're not communicating. And there are major differences between speaking and communicating. An effective communicator, just like in starting a business, you want to know who's your ideal client, what are their specific needs, and how to innovate in alignment with those needs. Just like that, an effective public speaker, he takes the time to understand what is the learning style of my listeners. Of course, in business, you want people to know more about your products and services, and you want to influence positive public response towards your products and services. But if you don't know how that information is being communicated and how that information is affecting your listeners, the possibility exists that you're hurting your brand as against helping your brand. And let me give some quick examples here. In our platform at Seven Figure Media, we're helping our community to better understand this language and how to apply it. Let's talk a bit about listeners' learning style. There's some people who are visual learners. So me, you can talk as much as we want to talk, but if you don't incorporate the visual aid, they're not going to get the message. So you've got to ask yourself, as a sales communication professional, as a public relations specialist, as a marketing specialist, are we taking this into consideration? And are we considering how much this might help my sales team, my marketing team, my public relations team to incorporate this and better use this to appeal to the listening audience? There's some audience, like until you say you're a visual. My son says to me, Dad, I just recognize I'm a visual learner. He gets the message much faster. You can talk, he don't get you, but just bring the visual. He said, wow, I love this information, right? The same thing applies to your audience. And when you disregard all of this, it's a missed opportunity to grow and scale that 6, 7, and 9-figure brand and make impact the way you ought to make impact. Frank was talking earlier about impact. You also have listeners that may be auditory. Are you taking this into consideration? All right. You have listeners who are kinesthetic. Are you taking this into consideration? So I'm saying all of this to say part of your toolkit is what we're going to call effective public speaking. Any attempt to start and scale your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand at your strategic, tactical, and operational level of the organization, there must be some emphasis that is being placed on speakers who can speak clearly and communicators who can communicate effectively. To do this well, you need to understand what we are calling the speaker's gap, because there are many gaps. A lot of things that I spoke about early on, there's gaps when many persons speak, and then there's the communication loop. And if the loop is not working the way it's supposed to work, you are at a disadvantage in communicating information to your listening audience. There's a lot that I would want to say on the communication loop, but we will not necessarily get into that today. We're going to probably expand on it some more next week, because any attempt, again, to start and scale your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, it has many moving parts. And building a team that is able to help you to communicate your information clearly and to communicate your MVO, your minimum or most viable offer, effectively to your listeners, that can play a very pivotal role in how you influence positive public response towards your products and services. So with that, I just want to come to everyone to at least to give your closing thoughts in relation to best practices in starting and scaling your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand.
Sure. I'll jump in. So all the things that you're saying about training the sales force and all that, and this is kind of, I think it was from the CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang was actually sharing that. Now moving forward, we'll start seeing AI could become part of our kind of coaching us to make us, in his words, like become like almost like a superhuman in a way. They're guiding us to become better, just because some of the ideas or concept we may not, as a human, we may not think of right off the bat, but with the AI kind of helping us to spark some idea to kind of coexisting with us, to train us to get into the next level of awareness, like what Frank was talking about earlier, to create building the brand is to create a bigger, not necessarily building the wealth, but amplify that impact, pass it down the generations to come. We are actually in that process becoming. It is because we have the AI to help us in this part of the process, just like you shared earlier. AI could be two sides of a knife, just like how we're using knife. We can use the knife to cook, or we can use the knife to kill someone, right? Or harm someone.
Double-edged sword.
So it's a double-sided sword. So it all depends on how we use it, of course, just like everything else. I mean, it is a little bit kind of the wild game because it's not quite regulated yet. Just, but I'm thinking but the government are starting to want to get a little bit more involved. I think if I remember correctly, just the other day, I was reading, I think you guys probably heard DeepSeek from China. They're actually competing with OpenAI, and then U.S. government already want to start getting involved. The people in U.S. they are going to prohibit the U.S. citizens to use DeepSeek because just for that reason. Make sure the government security, the homeland security. So it is, I mean, every part of the world probably get to experience, that part of it, how AI can help them with, whatever they every day in the business. But there is a concern in the security area, and just like when we're in our AI consulting world, and the people that we're helping with, especially in the Medicare area industry, the doctor, nurses, all this banking industry, even all those sensitive, I would say, industries. When we get into consulting our clients with that kind of sensitive information, we have to, as a trained consultant, as advisor, we have to be able to differentiate different type of AI machine that's operated behind that user interface to be able to properly consulting our clients which AI tools is to use, so they don't accidentally disclose their company's sensitive data to their competitors or in public. So all those kind of things, those are the deeper like study that we have to study as a consultant. Like I'm personally in the process become a trained certified consultant in this particular area, because for me to properly consult the client what is the right AI tools to use, I have to be able to know what is the AI machine is operating behind the scene for me to know which one is proper one to recommend. So all those kind of things, we might feel like, oh, there's a lot of tools that we can play and all that is kind of fun. But, when it comes down to implementing those machines, incorporate into the company, we are also taking a very serious consideration because we know those company have some sensitive data that cannot be leaked out. So those are the things that it's not something just like playing with tools is all good and all that. So this is the kind of thing we have to take into the consideration when we are helping our clients. Oh, you're muted.
Definitely. There are always advantages and disadvantages, and you need to be sensitive to the degree of transparency that you're going to be creating with executive data. So you have to definitely watch that. Thanks for that share, Atina. Frank? Here.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about the consideration of the audience. When you want to build a seven-figure brand, it has to resonate with diverse audience. And here's where it has to include those visual learners, auditory learners, along with the different leadership styles. So as a catalyst leader, one must adopt a multifaceted approach that integrates the various communication and engagement strategies. If you're understanding the psychology of different audience types, it ensures that the brand message is not only received but also internalized, it's also acted upon. For visual learners, for example, the branding should be heavily focused on high quality visuals, storytelling through imagery, and engaging video content. So platforms like the Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, they can be leveraged to deliver the compelling narratives through the short form and long form videos. There's something called the infographics and well-designed presentations. So the consistency in brand aesthetics, such as your color schemes, your typography, and visual metaphors enhances recall and emotional connection. When you're using the visual case studies behind the scenes glimpses of the brand journey, can also deepen the engagement. For auditory learners, on the other hand, they benefit from podcast, voice messaging, and storytelling through speech. Hosting a branded podcast, participating in interviews, and using the audio platforms like Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces can significantly increase the brand awareness. Keynote speaking engagements, webinars, and voice-based content on social media allow individuals to absorb information more effectively. Additionally, incorporating strong verbal storytelling into marketing campaigns will ensure that these leaders connect with the brand's message. When addressing the different leadership styles, it is essential to recognize how transformational, transactional, servant, and visionary leaders consume and process information. For transformational leaders, they're inspired by big picture messaging. So the brand should highlight innovation, should highlight long-term impact and cultural shifts. Transactional leaders focus on efficiency and the returns on investment, or what we call ROI, requiring data-driven content, case studies, and concrete proof of success. The servant leaders, they connect with messages that emphasize community, emphasize ethical responsibility, and people-centered initiatives. And it makes crucial to showcase philanthropic efforts and customer success stories. Visionary leaders are drawn to disruptive ideas and groundbreaking concepts, meaning that storytelling around bold innovation and future forward strategies should be central. A seven-figure brand must embrace an omni-channel strategy. It must ensure that the content is delivered in various formats: written blogs, video explainers, interactive webinars, podcasts, and experiential marketing. The holistic approach not only caters to different learning styles, but also enhances engagement. It enhances retention and conversion, which makes the brand more accessible and impactful across diverse audiences and leadership styles.
All right. Great share, Atina and Frank. And a topic that we have to look at over the next few weeks is how do we help the public to take complex knowledge and make it sound sexy? The buzzword here is sexy. And I say this because when you're communicating, either through sales, through marketing, through public relation, or quality customer care, sometimes the information may be complex, but you're not communicating effectively if that information is not getting to your listeners. You're not going to get a feedback that you want. And if you're not getting feedback, is one missing loop from that communication process. You need feedback. But more than feedback, you need to create connection. And the art of making complex knowledge sound sexy, I believe it is that way to really impact your audience. So we have our challenge cut out for us the next couple of weeks, and that's to share with the public what we're going to recommend for them to take complex knowledge and make it sexy.
You need to deliver it with passion and energy.
I mean, it is. I mean, there's 55% of the communication is actually delivered in body language. So that's why I like, Gary, I notice when you talk, you use a lot of hands to demonstrating your concept. And people follows. It's not a distraction. It's helping demonstrating the concept that you're talking about. Otherwise, even though we have people that is auditory, but there's also people visual like myself. If I don't see your hand moving, I probably fall asleep. Because he has such a calm voice. So it is true. That's what there's a study. So 55% of the communications is through body language, and 38% is through tone of voice. Only 7% is words.
Yeah.
Right?
We're going to go deeper into this because I do believe it's a missing link. I think because most persons believe that, we can talk, we can communicate. There is very often disregard the art of it and the disregard the science of speaking. And on this platform, we're going to raise those concepts. We're going to expand on those concepts as a way of ensuring that our audience truly get to understand how all of these techniques plays into helping you to start and scale your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand. With that being said, Frank, I want to thank you for being here today. I'm happy that you always take the time out to come and share your knowledge and experience with us. And I'm quite certain that the audience is benefiting a lot from your knowledge. Atina, again, I want to thank you too for being here. I know you just came from that long trip, and I know you need that well-deserved rest.
Yeah.
So I trust that after this podcast, you can go jump in that sack and get some rest, because we have to rock and roll next week again.
That's right. That's right.
So thank you guys for am coming out, and I'll see you guys next week. Can you imagine being the speaker who's able to speak and inspire your audience? Well, you don't have to imagine, because all of this is possible with Seven Figure Media. They have designed a very unique platform titled Public Speaking Made Simple that not only equips you with the tools to speak to inspire and empower, but in the case that you're a sales communication professional, it gives you the tools to connect with your audience and increase significantly your sales outcome. Reach out to Seven Figure Media and get to learn more about their program, Public Speaking Made Simple, that can literally transform your life.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you.